No doubt it would please the delegates if we were to introduce some famous elder statesman to give a stirring keynote address as Convention USA begins to undertake its business. And certainly it would be agreeable if what we say here today would be picked up by the national media and broadcast all around the country. But I entertain no such illusions. At most, Convention USA is a tiny group of 375 citizens from 48 states who have joined together to launch an enterprise of almost mind-boggling proportions. We want to facilitate the amendment of the Constitution of the United States. Just saying those words is enough to cause many people to question our realism, if not our sanity. Yet here we are, come together from more than 2/3 of the states of the federal union, bonded by a common belief that amendment of the Constitution is sorely needed, and that the existing political power structure is inadequate to the task. We've joined forces, despite wide divergence of opinion and loyalty, to take a first tenuous step towards renewing the compact between the people of the United States and their government. Our delegates are a cross-section of the American people. While some are very knowledgeable and sophisticated, most are rather typical of citizens who might be called to jury duty. So perhaps before we begin our deliberations, you will allow me to play the role of a trial judge and set some ground rules that the delegates should all understand. First of all, Convention USA is not a constitutional convention in the classic sense. We're not going to write a new constitution. We have no legal or moral justification for what we propose to do unless it comes from Article 5 of the existing Constitution. Article 5 says that when 2/3 of the states petition for it, the Congress shall call a convention to propose amendments to this Constitution. So our mission here will be to explore specific amendments to the existing United States Constitution and not to rewrite or revise the entire document. Second, Convention USA is not a mock or pretend or demonstration convention. Article 5 requires the Congress to call a convention when 2/3 of the states ask for it, and that requirement is mandatory. The Congress has no choice in the matter. It can set no conditions or limitations. The duty of the Congress to call a convention is perfunctory and ministerial. In short, when the Constitution says the Congress shall call a convention, it means there shall be a convention. The bottom line is that Article 5 gives the people the right to have a convention if 2/3 of the states want to participate. Since the adoption of our Constitution in 1789, there have been over 700 state petitions for an Article 5 convention. Every state in the Union has asked for one, and some states have asked more than once. Congress has never acted. The courts refuse to act. If there is to be any action, the people must act for themselves. Third, Convention USA is a people's convention. The preamble to the U.S. Constitution begins with these words: "We, the people of the United States of America." The people of the United States have the right to assemble for any lawful purpose, and certainly proposing amendments to the Constitution is a lawful purpose. We need no permission, no license, no approval to exercise our God-given right of self-government. We call those who participate in Convention USA the delegates. They're not elected representatives, but they do represent the people in the same way that demonstrators who march on the Capitol represent those of us who stay home. There are all kinds of websites on the internet which invite people to express their opinion about this or that, and which conduct polls to reflect public opinion. Mr. Roper, Mr. Gallup, and all the other professional pollsters are able to measure public opinion in a vacuum, but they cannot speak for the citizens of the United States. Convention USA is different. It is the only place on the internet where citizens can stand up and be counted. Our delegates identify themselves and our website records and publishes their votes. Fourth, Convention USA is not just a gathering of Americans in general. It is a parliamentary body consisting of the people of the several states. We come together as Floridians, Texans, New Yorkers, Oklahomans, Virginians, citizens of the 50 states who embark upon a common effort to improve our federal union. To become a part of the Constitution, an amendment must be ratified by 3/4 of the states. Our delegates are organized in 50 state caucuses. It is in the individual states that the real work of the convention will be done. My fellow delegates, we are met here on the internet to begin a great work. Someday, God willing, the Article 5 convention will be a fourth branch of the federal government, controlled by the states, answerable to the people, and empowered to propose amendments whenever the experience of mankind and the consensus of the nation require them. And when that day comes, people will simply assume that the convention always was part of our nation. It will be a great institution of representative government as surely as the executive, the legislative, and the judicial branches. But the genius of human achievement does not lie in great institutions. It lies in the unique and God-given capacity of the human spirit to envision what is not but can be, to embrace what is unfulfilled and cause it to happen, to make an act of faith and turn unreality into reality. It is given to us here in this time and place, as it is given to few men and women, to taste and feel and know the power of human purpose. And we shall remember. We shall remember this day, and we shall remember too, despite any immediate sense of accomplishment, that a long and difficult road lies before us. As we go down that road, let us neither ask nor permit any excuses of each other. Ours is a common bond of patriotism, whether from the left or the right, whether liberal or conservative, whether Republican, Democrat, Independent, Capitalist, Socialist, Libertarian, Tea Party, Coffee Party, occupiers, or just plain members of the silent majority. We must all be in this effort together. We know what needs to be done. We know that we will not succeed until we have recruited thousands of our fellow Americans to stand with us and be counted. We know that we will not succeed until we have such a critical mass of delegates from every state that it can fairly be said that Convention USA speaks for a consensus of the American people. Our delegates are enthusiastic and they're eager to begin discussing and debating the issues which divide us and advancing those ideas which will invigorate our federal republic. Our website provides forums for our delegates to engage in a national dialogue. It also provides means necessary for each state to organize its citizens' caucus as a starting point for constitutional reform. But we have no illusion that what has been done thus far is the ultimate internet presence on which the people's will can be expressed and expounded. Much, much more will need to be done. But working together and trusting in the beneficent Creator who has for so long inspired the counsels of our forefathers, we shall succeed.